Indy. One word says it all. And for the second time, this legendary venue hosts one of motorsport's most prestigious events, the SCCA's National Championship Runoffs. Together, it's a can't-miss bucket list pairing, and almost 900 entries have arrived, all pursuing two things: a chance to kiss the bricks and a gold medal that says champion. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 58th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs here at one of the most iconic and legendary of all racing venues. It is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a broadcast being presented by Mazda. Great to have you with us. I'm Greg Creamer. Larry McLeod alongside. Hayward Wagner will be down in the pits and on the pre-grid for us. In the big screens there, you can see the podium unfolding for some previous racing we did. It's been busy. Last race of the day. We had rain earlier. We hit a little bit of a window where everything is dried up, but our weather prognosticator extraordinaire and my analyst says that may not last too long.
Yeah, I've put my meteorologist hat on, and I'm looking at it. I think we've got about 15 minutes before we're going to see some sprinkles coming down, and that could change things up. I'm curious down on the grid lane there, who's on full dries? Probably everybody, but who's got the wet stacked up ready to go?
Yeah, it could be a strategy race for sure. Let's take a look at our Mazda track map. Give you an idea of what this facility is all about. 2.6 miles, 14 corners, and just about a little bit of everything.
Yes, it has everything. Obviously, the extremely long straightaway that we've got here in Indy across the famous yard of bricks, they're going to take them down into the turn 1-2 complex, and that comes down off the banking, makes for some interesting side-by-side racing. But as they get down to turn 4, it tightens up a little bit, kind of a slingshot effect all the way down to turn 6, a big old skid pad for turn 6. But the critical piece there is getting the exit off of 6A. That's the back straight down the Holman Drive. Leading up to turn 7 bunches everybody down through the S's, 8, 9, 10, get a critical run off of 10, back onto the oval, going backwards, as they say, down into turn 12, critical possible passing zone right there at 12. But turn 13, that late apex, leads you all the way down that long straightaway. So getting 13 right leads to fast laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Fast laps and great passing opportunities down into turn 1. You know, Mazda does a lot more than just present the track map here at the Runoffs. They support their drivers with face-to-face and virtual coaching at events throughout the year. And quite frankly, no other brand in North America does as much to get racers off sidelines and behind the wheel as Mazda does. They have been a great partner. We thank them also for presenting our broadcast here. We're also thankful to have Hayward Wagner with us, and he is down on the pre-grid. And with Formula Continental coming out, this is a great class, always great stories. Good afternoon, Hayward.
Guys, here's the picture that's worth 1,000 words. It's coming. I've had a couple of conversations here in grid with guys. One thing I can tell you for sure is there are quite a few guys in this race that their strategy is hope. They're hoping that it does not rain. They're here on dries. They're on their dry setup. I asked one of the drivers, one of the crew, if it does rain, will you come in for wets? And they said, probably. And I said, how long will it take you to change them? He started goes, I don't know, we've never done it. So we're not going to be seeing world-class pit stops here. We're going to be seeing mom and dad and little brother and whoever can get over that wall and try to change tires if it comes to that. We do have one car, though. We're currently 5th on the grid, the 61 car that's on full wet towards the front of the field. His challenge is going to be to keep those wets nice and squared off. The grooves are cut very sharply. If he starts to round those while the track is still dry, those are going to be garbage in the wet. There's a bunch of cars in the back of the field that are running on wets. They don't have nearly as much to lose. But if you look right over here on the back wing of our pole sitter, you're going to see that it's no longer if, it's when. We're starting to see drops.
Oh, boy, starting to show up already. These guys that are on the slicks are sitting on the grid going, come on, let's get this thing moving right now.
He says, you guys take all the time you want.
Yeah, exactly.
He's that number 61, Reese Everard, out of the Detroit region.
And, you know, one of the things we're talking here about just the tire strategies in terms of wet versus dry, but as always in these classes, there's developments, and one of them in this class is tires.
Yeah, there has been. So one of the things that's new for this year is Hoosier has a spec tire for them in the dry and a spec tire in the wet. So everyone this year has had a chance to run the dry, but not everyone has had a chance to try those wets. So while they may have them, they're here on site, and a lot of them should be stacked along the pit lane wall. A lot of these guys, I talked to Rob Allaer. He and his son are both in this field. Nolan right now is gridded 3rd there. You can see him there in that number 77. They have not yet tried these wets, so it's going to be a bit of an unknown for them. Even the Rob Allaer, being the defending champion, hasn't been able to run them. So I think a lot of guys, it's going to be a huge bunch of wild cards thrown in the air if that rain comes down any heavier than it is right now.
And none of them have ever tried them in the wet here. So that's a whole other can of worms that we could be talking about. Let's get through the grid here. On the pole, the number 91 of Trent Walco, a rookie, but what a run he put together in the Global Racing Team Van Diemen starting outside. A busy man this weekend, the young number 13, Simon Sikes, out of Martinez, Georgia, already has himself a medal earlier in the weekend in his citation. Starting in the second row, you mentioned him, Nolan Allaer out of Grosse Pointe, Michigan, in the Martini and Chandon Van Diemen. And starting outside, the guy who is both super sweep eligible and is the guy who's the Hawk breakthrough performer. That is moving up most from the qualifying session Tuesday to Wednesday. That's Tim Miner in his Lake House and Ski Motorsport citation. Moved up 20 positions during those two qualifying sessions. Starting in the 5th spot, the 61, Reese Everard, who we're talking about in the Affinity Van Diemen. Starting in the 17th spot, John LaRue in the Carbotech citation. Starting in the 7th position, the 52 of Rob Allaer, Dad, the defending champ in the Martini Chandon Van Diemen. Starting in the 8th spot, the 96, Brian Tomasi, another, along with LaRue, and we talked about Allaer, also previous gold medal winners here in the Van Diemen. Starting in the 9th spot, another previous gold medal winner, the 65 of Michael Varachins in the Pepperball Life Light Hoosier, in the Van Diemen, running on Hoosier tires. Starting in the 10th spot, the number 11 of Robert Armington in the Apex Promotions Van Diemen. Starting in the 11th spot, the 55 Mauro Fauza in the Green Marble and Granite Van Diemen. Starting 12th is the number 18 of Tom Hope, and he is running in a RFR Formula Continental. Starting in the 13th spot, the 45 of Dean Kirilluk. He's in a Van Diemen. Starting in the 14th spot, the 48 of Alex Tollefson in the Van Diemen. Starting in the 15th spot, the number 44 of Chris Charnow. He's in a Van Diemen. Most of these cars are. Starting in the 16th spot, the 75 of Rick Payne in the Peyton Pools entry. Starting in the 17th spot, the 05 of Devin Lesueur, and he too in one of the Van Diemen. Starting 18th, the number 14 of Paul Marino. Starting in the 19th spot, the 35 of Charles Schaefer. Starting the 20th spot, the number 41 of Glenn Cordova. Starting 21st, the 66 of Gabriella Jasper. Starting in the 22nd spot is the number 42 of Bill Johnson. He also has an outside shot of being super sweep eligible. Starting 23rd, the 99 of Peter West. 24th, the 04 of Craig Coffin. Starting 25th, the 02 of Mark Hutchinson. 26th, the 0 of Mark Diefer. Starting 27th, the 80 of Lynn Greenhall. Starting in the 28th spot, the number 59 of Dennis McCarthy. Starting 29th, the 2 of Dane Babkirk. Starting 30th, the 46 of Douglas Rocco. And rounding out the field, starting 31st and 39 of Eric Burkhardt. And you can see these guys trying to make sure those tires are nice and clean as we get ready to go here. We talked about Rob Allaer being the defending champion. He blew a motor big time on Sunday. They put the backup motor in. He said it's nowhere near as good. But he said, I was having trouble staying with my son Nolan anyway. He was really quick here. And I asked Rob, I said, so what's the secret? What's Nolan doing to getting quicker? And Rob said, oh, he's cheating. That's the only way. That's the only way he can beat Dad.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of good fun in that family. And I think Rob, obviously, he's not really thrilled to be starting back where he is, but he's very thrilled that his son Nolan is doing so well up there. But
yeah, we'll talk a little bit later on about Nolan and how he got to where he is. But for Rob, the defending champ, it's a big hill here. I think this is one of the deepest fields we have ever seen here in FC. They were trying to get 30-plus cars. This is the 35th year that this Formula Continental configuration has been running. And for these guys, they wanted to celebrate that with a big field, and they've got it with more than 30 cars lined up.
They do. It is fantastic to see. It's such a wonderful class as you start to step up into aero cars, but it's still about mechanical grip primarily. And you've got to wheel these cars, and we're going to find out who is going to be the national champion as the run to gold about to get underway. We're green! And Rob Allaer made a big move, but then he had to check up. He thought he jumped early, and it actually might cost him a spot or two. And Waco makes the move, but look at that move by Simon Sikes. He had tucked in behind him, then pops to the outside. Simon has been on the track before already today. Used that track knowledge, I think, a little bit. Ramped the outside. He's into the lead.
It was a lot wetter when he was running, but it was in a drying conditions. He knows where the best pavement is right now, and he definitely used that to his advantage. I'm not sure that advantage is going to last very long, as the rest of these guys are going to see it. But Nolan Allaer getting shuffled back there early on, started third. Looks like he's about fourth right now with that great start of the guys up in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was a superb start. I thought he was going to try and throw it down the inside. That would have been the 88, and Tim Miner, he's the guy who had a really good start, jumping from 4th up into 3rd, and apparently he just brought John LaRue right with him here at this stage, and that's how they sit right now. Now, down into turn 7. It's so wide here, it's easy to make these big, sweeping jump moves, and these guys made it work side by side through that turn. Beautiful run by the 96 of Brian Tomasi, another medal winner in this category. You see a little bit of spray coming out of Brian's car. I think it's just the fuel overfill, and that should settle down then, but he too is having a pretty good start.
Yeah, there's some experienced guys up there. You talked about Miner and Tomasi. Those guys finished 3rd and 4th here in Indianapolis 4 years ago, so they've definitely been around quite a bit, and they're using some of that experience right now around the young driver, Nolan Allaer, just a freshman in college. His first chance to see this Indy here with this kind of pack going for a position. So they're using that, and I don't know how long until Allaer really steps up here and is able to kind of push the fight back to them.
He's really strong in qualifying. We'll see what he's able to do. It'd be interesting if he and Dad team up at some point, if they get in that position and try and make the move here. Big pop move here, the number 11 of Robert Armington, looking down the inside, gets around the 17 of John LaRue. Nice move there by Armington. That puts him up into the 6th spot right now.
Yeah, he's on the move for sure. He started this race 10th.
Remember, everybody also have their eyes on one of our specialty awards, the Sunoco Hard Charger Award. Most places moved up during the race, courtesy of the official fuel of SCCA Sunoco. And if you don't have a shot at the medals, that's one you want to win, because that shows that you're really moving forward in the race. And Simon Sikes wasted no time, got to the lead and has opened up a nice handy little margin over pole sitter Trent Walco.
Yeah, he's going to get this shot, and I think, like you said, he has a little bit of that experience just a few hours ago in the Formula F race. These cars, a little bit more power, and obviously has wings, but in a lot of regards, they're not that different from a Formula F. A lot of folks do that changeover between the FF1600s, the F2000s, which a lot of these guys come out of the F2000 series as well. And for Sykes, he's very adept to go in between them. In fact, he was in this class last year. I believe he finished 2nd in this class, so very experienced here for Sykes.
Absolutely. We're having a look here at Morrow Falls in the black number 55, and he's got big pressure from the 05 of Devin Lesueur. Looks like Lesueur was able to just sneak down underneath in that very tricky turn number 12. You're braking on the banking, then you turn down the banking into the corner, and it's so easy to lock up brakes and overshoot. But when you get it right, you knife down the inside, then get the car rotated. And that is the number 35. Unfortunate to see for Charles Schaefer. He is a longtime competitor in this championship. So we'll go back up to the Tomasi and Nolan Allaer battle. That's for 4th.
Yeah, Tomasi, again, the veteran moves, but I think Allaer finally getting into a bit of his groove now. Going to try and take the fight to him here in this first sector of the track, coming off of turn 4 in through turn 5, this kink. I don't know how long it's going to be until we get a couple of heavier raindrops around this place, but these guys ought to fight as hard as they can, because once it comes, it's going to come down pretty strong for them. And we'll see if it's strong enough for any kind of wet weather tires.
And a problem early going for Dad. Robert Allaer is already out and parked, I think. That's a real shame. So
defending champion.
Yeah,
all he can do now is kind of root on for his son, you know, as he says, the cheater. Of course, tongue in cheek. We're not
absolutely
not accusing or anything, but
he was rationalizing it's the only way he can be faster than Dad. Come on, Mr. Experience here.
Yep.
So, but nice run here by Robert Armington.
Yeah.
As he gets in front of a very experienced driver in John LaRue. So you've got to be impressed with what Armington is doing. This is his 5th runoff. He's been around. He was a 5th in this category in Daytona in 2015. Look at this little scrum right here. Beautiful move up and around the outside. There is, I believe, the 64 that was in that group. Now check it. That's the 04. And no matter where you look in these fields, you always find some really stout racing. That's Greg Coffin, who's right in the middle of a great battle. Yes, it may be back in the field just a little bit, but you're racing absolutely furiously. And look at this, Nolan now, he did this before, but he tried a little bit of an ill-advised move. You know, not that he stuck his nose in and risked anything, but he just kind of showed the nose, tightened his apex up, and lost ground on the exit. That time he just tracked through, and he's staying right with Tomasi here And you need to do that so that when you get to, say, that long run down into 7, you need to be there and not have lost too much ground. And plus, great opportunity for this young man to go to school against one very fast driver.
Well, he is still in school. He's getting schooled here right now, but he's also a freshman in college right now at a school trying to put together a Formula SAE program. Great place for young engineers as well as opportunities to do some driving. He just took his driver's school a year ago, just over a year ago, up in Michigan where the Allaers live. And at that school, they said, you know, you're pushing near track records. We got to get you in something fast. And you can look at him now, just a little over about a year and a half later, starts this race in 3rd, currently running up in 5th in a very deep FC field. I would say this kid's rising quickly.
I would think so, absolutely. And, I mean, yeah, I think what tells the tale is the starting 3rd. That shows you his speed.
He's got the pace.
In qualifying. Once he develops that racecraft, and part of that's learning how to do the starts and all of that. And, you know, whatever you've done previously, you haven't done it at the runoffs against the best in the country. And so your first time here, oftentimes you're just kind of, okay, I'm here to learn. And look at what we're seeing. Although for Sykes, you know, last year in Formula F, he was able to just win the darn thing, but was really competitive here as well. So there are these drivers with great racecraft already, maybe like you said, coming from USF 2000 or other categories that can come in and be effective.
And for Sykes right now, he's just pacing the field at about a second to second and a half every single lap. He is flying right now for Sykes. Looking real fast, we've got down. That looks like the 0 of Mark Deffer. You can't see the number on the other car. Still in the grass, he's moving. That's the 0-4 of Greg Coffin.
So that was that battle we were just looking at back in the field just a little bit.
It's a dangerous place. Hopefully he'll be able to get going. There he goes.
Good deal. See the workers in the background with that yellow flag waving, providing information to the drivers as they come up on the scene. Good for him to continue. Means we don't have to go yellow. And here's the thing. One of the reasons I think that Sykes is just dropping the hammer, he's on those slicks. And you know they've been looking at the weather. And if something happens where it starts to get wet, he wants to have as big a lead as he can before they duck into the pits or try and hang on for the last couple of laps in damp conditions on well-worn
Either
slicks.
of those cases, yes, he would like to have the biggest lead he could possibly achieve so that if he can give his team a margin to be able to change his tires quicker, if that's what it comes to, or as you say, maybe if it's wet at the end, have a little bit of buffer where everybody else is chasing you. When you're out in front, it's a little bit easier.
And he is, as you pointed out, throwing down laps. That last lap time, a 1:38.7. But this time, Walco is a little bit quicker at a 1:38.5. So things starting to plateau just a little bit.
And I'm seeing raindrops out our windows here. Yes, I am.
All right, so it is coming. And the thing is, there's a point where you can continue to run slicks on a track if the rain isn't so heavy that you do what's called lose the track. And, you know, it could be slightly damp in the heat of these tires and the load of the cars and the wings and everything. You can still run pretty quickly, but at a certain point, you start to see that track glisten.
Yeah.
And that's when it says, you know, that's when you've lost the track.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and put my meteorologist hat on and say I think that we might be looking at kind of an easing in rain. It's not going to be a deluge. It's not a giant line of storms rolling in. It's a bit of a cloud kind of rolling in that it's going to start to build quickly. The question will be is how quickly do we lose the track? How fast do the puddles build? Or can we finish this thing with these guys still on slicks?
Absolutely. Good look there. I think that's our pole sitter, Walco. No, that's Sykes, who is just continuing to auger his way through the field.
Walco there in the second spot.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit darker blue than Sykes' machine. And still doing some nice laps. I mean, he's staying a little bit quicker on that last lap. As I said, we'll see what happens this time as they come through. A 38.4 for Sykes.
A little slower for the pace there, certainly for Sykes, as he was down in the 36s earlier. 39.4s this time by. For Walco, although again he may be a rookie in this race, he's been running F2000. He was second place this year in the F2000 series. And we know how competitive that group can be, and a couple of those guys are actually in this field. So for Walco, he's been cutting his teeth here in these cars. So I think keep your eye out for him as these weather conditions change. He may have seen some of that this year if he's got enough races under his belt.
Here's the guy running in third, the last medal position, Tim Miner, as I said, Super Sweep eligible and got that Hawk Breakthrough Performer Award as well. And a fair amount of experience behind the wheel of this car. 12th runoffs, 1 gold, and it happened in 2019 at VIR. And so he is plenty adept at getting this done, but right now just not able to quite match the pace of those 2 guys up front. And as a result, he's about 6 seconds back of Walco right now. But he also has right now a little bit of breathing room over Nolan Allaer, who has gone around on Tomasi and has opened up a slight margin over Tomasi, but he's got more work to do to get up to Minor. And then we've got a really good scrap unfolding right here. Big outside move.
Nowhere to
That's
go.
brazen. Just then threads the needle, cuts down to the inside. And you can see that yellow and black machine, the guy was really looking in his mirrors, and it may have cost him here. As the 88 slices on through, that's
Sweet Minor.
yeah, that's so he's working some traffic already. So that's what that was all about. And it just tells you the pace that these guys up front are running right now, that they're already 8 laps in, getting into some traffic.
Yeah, Minor with he's got a bit of a buffer behind him to Nolan Allaer, as Allaer had that battle there with Tomasi. Big lockup there for Tomasi going into 1. But for Allaer now, he's got work to do in front of him. He picked up about a second on Minor in that lap alone. But again, as these conditions change and a couple more drops come down, this guy's going to be hunting for the driest pavement.
So the battling for the medals here is continuing. So far, it's staying relatively dry out there. Everybody's fingers are crossed except a couple of drivers that are on the full wets. We're going to take a quick break and learn more about some of our great partners.
Why race? Because it's in our blood. A love of driving that pushes us as hard on the road as it does on the track. It's why we reinvented the Roadster and put a piece of it into every car we make. It's why we refine, rethink, and refine again. And it's why we'll always engineer to your heart's BPM, not simply an engine's RPM. Why race? Why indeed?
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Welcome to that magic realm. Between here and there, a no man's land, and everyone's land. Where great expectations grow, and rewards are given to the swift, the perceptive, and the daring. Introducing the Mazda CX-30 Turbo with all-wheel drive. More power for your pursuit.
Welcome back to Hagerty Race Day here at Indianapolis. And we are watching the run for the gold in the Formula Continental category here. Good look there at the number 66 of Gabrielle Jasper, running out of Toms River, New Jersey. And right now sitting in the 18th position. That is a look at the number 80. And
It's Lynn Greenhill.
that's Lynn Greenhill having a good run. And just kind of showing there's great battling throughout the field right now. And putting in a heck of a show at this stage. And here is your leader, Simon Sikes. And Walco looks like he's closing that out just a little bit here.
He's certainly not going away. As we're talking about Sykes trying to build a lead to maybe have to commit for tires should these things actually get wet around here. Walco has a different idea and thinking, no, I think I need to keep this close just in case anything happens.
Well, that's the whole thing is you never say never. We've seen it. We get just a little bit of rain and somebody, up front, Sykes locks up, floats a little wide or whatever. You're suddenly right back in the game here. And so you never give up. And you keep pressing all the way toward the finish here. And so having a look here, and I think that is Nolan Allaer.
And he's taking a couple of tenths again out of Tim Minor, so he's now about 2 seconds back for that last step on the podium. So we'll have to keep an eye on Allaer. As our leader, Sykes, now trying to find his way through some traffic.
And that is the other reason you never give up, because the old saying, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. you can have a big lead and you get caught in behind a couple of guys battling, and they are under no obligation if they're battling for position to just move out of the way and let
I think
you
that's
through.
exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
He's caught this pack right here through the S's, and there's just no way past. He's going to have to wait till he's past turn 10 to clear these.
And you don't want to just jam your nose in, because more often than not, it will relatively, the odds are you're going to get it clipped, and you don't want to be playing that game when you've got a really quick car.
Yeah, 35 of Charles Schaefer there.
He's recovered and is getting back after it.
Finally gets by them going into
Took him
12
a
for
while.
Sykes.
But now, how quickly has Walco been able to work his way through? That's the other part of the coin, is if it holds up one person, it could very well hold up somebody else as well. Critical turn 14. In these cars, you don't have to run all the way out to the wall like you would in a really high horsepower car. You can keep it tucked a little bit tighter, and you're not really losing any speed. And as a result, you literally get to drive a little shorter line around the corner, and shorter is quicker. There's this wonderful battle here that's unfolding.
Mark Teffer and Dan Babkirk in there, battling it out there as they come around to turn 4.
And that's for the 22nd spot, but it's a pretty furious racing. Here, sitting in the 24th spot is the number 59 of Dennis McCarthy. Take a look at the bottom of the side pods when it comes through the shot here. You see it says COVID survivor. Right above it, it says Montefiore Medical Center. And here's the story. Dennis was literally on his deathbed and was in that hospital, the Montefiore Einstein Medical Center. He credits them with saving his life and allowing him to get back behind the wheel of a race car. And he went and talked to them and said, you know, you guys were so good. We'd love to represent you. We'd love to do stuff. And so they put a little program together. And now he travels and he'll go to various schools and colleges and to hospitals and visit people that have had, that are dealing with COVID and the like. But he just said, I wouldn't be here without that Montefiore Einstein Health and Medical Center. And the fact that he's got COVID survivor down there, that is really for, and it's absolutely spectacular. And it says Montefiore doing more is their slogan, and boy, they sure did a lot for McCarthy.
They did for him, and he's trying to pay back for all that they did for him. And Isaiah Dennis, he came up in here and talked to us a bit ago. There is no happier person on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway grounds than that guy. He's just happy every day and just enjoying right now what's a great race for him and a bucket list for him.
He's happy to be alive. He's thrilled to be racing in the runoffs and ecstatic to be doing it at Indy.
Yeah.
He's got his own trifecta going right there, and a good race. I mean, he started back in the 28th spot, and he had worked his way up into 21st at one point, and then they got into that great big battle, so they're sort of switching it back and forth here, but really doing a nice job. So just a wonderful story, and we had a chance to visit with him a little bit, and he's a great guy, too, and that's really special as well. Taking a look at, as we go back up to the front, the margin with all of those exchanges and dicing through traffic really hasn't changed. Still about 3.2 seconds. So Sykes and Walco, neither of them gaining a lot nor losing a lot in the run through traffic. Minor backaways by some 10 seconds off of that group. In the third spot, the Nolan Allaer, but Aller's coming. He is closing it up, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he just picked up another couple of tenths. He's now about only 1 second behind Tim Minor for that third step on the podium, and I think even in just sector 1 alone, he just picked up another 9/10. So he is definitely coming soon into Minor's mirrors.
And I know Dad Rob, the defending champion, is gutted not to be out there racing, but at least now standing in pit lane, he's looking at this and watching Nolan coming here, and maybe, and you medal in your first runoff, that's incredible.
It really is. And for Walco and Allaer, both in their first runoffs, Minor obviously has been here before. He knows how to defend when it comes to it. But for Walco, his first trip here, and he's driving like a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, he really is. It's an impressive run. Put in a pole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just
in
been
this
quick
field
from the off here. Yeah, that says a
as
ton.
I mentioned at the start, the FC crowd really wanted to make this a special event for them. They put together a great book for us as the broadcast here, trying to help us learn who these guys are. And you look at the numbers. Oh, we got the 0-2 with a spin right there. That's Mark Hutchinson.
No, that's a shame. They were all in that same battle, with Greg Coffin. We saw McCarthy in it, Diefer in it. And you just hate to have that happen but you've been out there battling, and of course you're using the old tires up pretty good here. You're pushing hard. Let's see what happened. You're coming out of 6A. Oh, I think that was evasive.
Yes, he was trying not to hit contact. He got such a good run off of 6A, and I think it kind of surprised him.
I think so too, and he just kept trying to turn down and underneath, so he didn't collect them. And it was a nice thing to do, but it did cost him with that spin. But he was able to gather it up and get going again, and that is the good thing here. There are lots of neat stories. The guy running in 9th right now, the number 55, Mauro Fauza, he's currently from Manalapan, New Jersey, but he was born and grew up in Sao Paulo, which is the same hometown as Ayrton Senna. And he's met Fittipaldi, met Senna, met Nelson Piquet many times over the years. I mean, just some great stories for people in these fields.
The stories he could probably tell.
Oh, man, no kidding. How about this story right here for that final podium spot? Not only has Nolan caught Minor, he is in the toe. See if he can do anything down into turn 1. He pops to the inside. Now it's going to be a late braking duel. Minor giving him a lot of room, not squeezing him too much. Can Nolan, he was thinking about it and decided at the last minute, no, not going to force the issue here. I think that was a savvy move.
Yeah, smart to kind of stay in behind. He knows he's got the speed. No sense in pushing it right there. Take another shot at it. He's going to have probably about 5 more laps, so it's not going to be over yet. But he's got a good opportunity here going through the kink at 5.
Yeah, ooh, he got Minor to run a little bit wide and got down underneath. And but the problem was that Minor came back the other way, and a great reaction by Nolan Allaer to make sure they didn't clip each other.
Yeah.
But as you said, now he knows he's got speed. Now it's a matter of timing.
Yep, and one of the other things about these cars, I mean, these are not a tremendous amount of aero. They are relatively low aero cars. You see different wings there on these two cars. You look at Minor in front, mostly a single plane, right, good shot of it there. And then you look at Allaer in the back, it's got multiple elements there. There is still a lot of dirty air off the car in front of you. So if you're trying to get some grip on those front tires, you follow too closely, you lose a lot of that grip. So for Allaer, he's got to really pick his spot carefully, because you go into a corner, you think you're close enough, you go to turn in, and your car just washes out.
Absolutely. Here they come into turn 12. And the key here now for Allaer is he got a huge run through 12. But here's where you want to get 13 right so you can squeeze the trigger early.
Yep.
And look at this. He's right up alongside. And he's not going to be dealing with the dirty air here. Now, what he might want to do is if Minor eases ahead a little bit, is tuck in just like that. Let him pull you again. Now, watch for it here, because he might pop, and this time he might go to the outside. There he goes. I think he needed to be a little, he had to back out of it. There's a yellow down in 1.
So a couple of things with Nolan is he did a really good job there, coming off at 12 and a 13, and pushing Minor to the inside at 13 and be able to get a better run. But if you look at, I was just talking about those front wings. I wondered if Nolan's running a bit more of a wet setup, a little bit more angle on those wings, which you look at that track, as soon as they got to the oval and to the straight section of the track, Minor started to pull on him. He was forced to tuck in behind. Obviously up ahead was the waving yellow, but still I think he might be carrying a little bit more wing. So he's a bit of I guess a bit of a deficiency down the straightaway compared to what Minor is. So if he's going to make a pass, going to have to be somewhere where he can hold a move, a counter move, from happening on him.
Well, I tell you what, just in looking at it, and every once in a while you can try a surprise pass.
Yeah.
And the speed he rolled through 12, if he backs up a little bit, carries all that through 12, as soon as Minor swings out, straight line to the apex in 13, park Minor, then you're both on the same acceleration graph on the way out. That might work, because he sure rolled speed through 12.
Yeah, and that's where I think that extra bit of downforce is helping him. Now they got some lap traffic to deal with up in front of them.
Yep, let's see if he comes through it again. Yeah, he made up another, just almost a car length there. And you can start to see, ooh, there it was, Minor, a little bit of a wiggle. And that may do that. Sometimes that's just enough to blunt your momentum here.
Minor's getting a bit of a toe there. Now he's going to weave through it.
And that could give you a double draft with the guy behind, but Allaer had just lost a little bit too much ground and wasn't in touch at that point.
Yeah, look at that down the straightaway. That's that straightaway speed that I'm convinced right now.
Yeah,
Minor is a little bit stronger there, which means Allaer's got to realize that now and know that his best opportunity for the pass, he may have to set him up into 6. We've seen some good passes there and kind of stay on his outside and try to get him down that back straight. or maybe if he can find a way to use the draft. But you can even say that even in the draft, his speed is not very high.
Yeah. Well, you look at those two wings, you can see the upper element in Allaer's wing is at a much higher angle.
Yeah.
The wing looks thicker at a glance, and that just means that element has been cranked up, adding more downforce, but that means more stick.
Yeah.
So.
Well, last time down the front straight, Tim Miner set a session record, a race record for the trap speed at 141.6 miles an hour. Nolan Allaer, even in the draft, was a little under 139, so 2.5 mile an hour difference between them, even with the draft for Allaer.
Nice move there. Didn't catch the number of the lap car. Just saw Miner came through and was wise enough to realize that, there might be somebody racing with him. Looked in the mirror, saw Allaer coming, and just opened the wheel up through 7 and let Allaer come through without losing very much ground. Now watch it here. That time now, Allaer really running that little bit of a longer arc. And the problem is, sometimes, that allows you to roll. Whoa, when he drops his rights, he's really pushing hard now. But when you roll, when you run those big long arcs, sometimes you're just driving too much distance.
Yep.
And you can turn it and square up a little bit quicker here.
And not helping Nolan right there. It was Miner getting a bit of a draft down the front straightaway from one of the other cars. Now a couple of car lengths separating and a lap car in between them as well, as we've got just 3 laps now as they come across for lap 17.
Here's Miner, the number 88, and ways back at this stage.
Yeah. We'll see if he's able to build a gap now, or if Nolan's able to recover. You can see Nolan got by the lap traffic.
He did. But that's what happens. Some of it's just downright luck. Where do you catch the traffic? And you catch them in the S's. I mean, they can't push the disappear button, and sometimes you just get stuck behind them, and there's nothing you can do. But there's also, how do you play traffic? You can say, all right, I'm not going to get them going into the turn, so don't run up on them and then have to check up, ease off a little bit, then get my run on the exit and try and get by them. And that's all part of the learning curve for a young driver, is working traffic, racecraft, track awareness, all of those things.
And Miner comes in here with 11 previous starts, and he was the 2019 champ in this class. So he certainly has that experience to be able to know how to work the traffic, where we already talked about Nolan Allaer, kind of a young driver, still really in his second season of racing, learning a lot of these subtleties. He's going to grow, he's going to learn a lot of this stuff, but learning it here at the runoffs for your first significant events, it's definitely going to school with some of these stronger, more seasoned veterans.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we do have it back in the pack a little bit. I mentioned it earlier too. We've got that Sunoco Hard Charger Award that drivers are looking at if they, from where they started the race to where they finished, the most moves in passing traffic, and it's a pretty coveted award because it says, I was a racer today. I was able to get through traffic, work traffic, and the like. And Miner in some traffic right now as well, taking a nice long arc. He's got. You don't want to stick your nose in on traffic. You just want to get through them cleanly here, and he was able to float some good speed running that little wider line around them and see what Allaer is going to be able to do about it, and see if Aller's been able to get through and how much ground he's lost at this point.
And he's definitely lost quite a bit.
Yeah.
You can still see him. He's not going away entirely.
He made some up in that traffic run. He got through a little bit better, I think.
Lap and a half to go. He's got to put in about a lap and a half of the best driving that he can to even make a run at that veteran Tim Miner.
Yeah, time to find it. I'll tell you what, the battle right now for 7th, 8th, and 9th, the 18 of Hope, the 55 of Fauza, and the 05 of Devin LeSueur, that is fierce right now. But watch it here. This is that run to the final medal.
Miner picking his spots to go around that lap traffic, and Allaer kind of gets stuck behind him here. Was able to duck in here, but he's not getting a good run off 13, and that's what we talked about the trap map from the beginning, is you got to get the run off of 13 to put a strong lap in here around Indianapolis, and there it is, that white flag waving one more time around.
And we were talking about the guys on the grid that were on the range. Reese Everard, tires are rooted at this stage. He's outside of the top 20. It's costly. But hey, I mean, if it had rained, he was sitting in the prime seats at that point, no question. But when we talk about a prime seat, it seems to be whichever one Sykes is in. He is just flying out there. Has added another second to his lead over Walco. He's just getting through traffic really, really well now that he's up upon it.
He just wants to do these next 4 corners so he can see that the best flag in all of motorsports.
Yeah, the checker. And you see it from P1 at the runoffs. You get a gold medal. And that is everything here. One more run through turn 11. Swinging up onto the banking for Simon Sikes in the Rice Race Hoosier Primus Group 6 citation.
He's been in 4 runoffs races, never been lower than 2nd in any of them.
Yeah, that's pretty good stats. Here he comes, folks, up onto the banking, earning his 2nd gold in 2 years in a different class, but as Larry said, his 4th second or better finish in 2 runoffs. Remarkable record for Simon Sikes. The very impressive Trent Walco, the tire rack pole sitter, sitting in 2nd, and look at this. Nolan on that last lap made up a ton of ground, and now it is a side-by-side battle for the final medal, and it looks like Miner had a little bit better exit speed, and Allaer had to pinch it down. Miner comes home with the bronze, but Allaer, he ran him down in that last lap and was inside of him and had his nose ahead at one point. Look at that. Those 2 guys going unbelievable run, man. And I think it was just the wisdom of Miner. He knew pinch him a little bit and then float out and let your car have its head. And it worked to perfection. But, boy, Allaer kept him honest.
He kept him honest, but for Miner, kept his head steady there and said, okay, I just got to get the run. And we all know he had the trap speed for him. So as long as he was no worse than side-by-side, he was going to get that and able to maximize that. But this guy, Sykes, I'm telling you, he runs FF and he runs FC. And he's now won a championship in each one of those. Now, last year in FF, this year in FC. He is a strong competitor in this style of open wheel racing.
Oh, you bet he is. Really, really fast and great car control. We saw that when he ran earlier in the Fords in the wet. And he was willing to throw that thing around just a little bit and put on a great show here. But so did Trent Walco, Tim Miner, Nolan Allaer, and John LaRue hung right in there. But look at Michael Verachen's. Had worked his way up in.
That's your boy Veracens. He's 7-time Formula V champ. He's been in here. He was on the podium a year ago, and just continues to push and push in this field. Shows you that a 7-time Formula V champ comes into a class like FC, and there you can see him right there. Such a steep learning curve for a driver his caliber. And like I said, he did get to taste that bronze medal last year. This year, as deep as this 31 car field is, Veracens. Yeah. Veracens, going to be going home in 6th spot.
Well, he started as well. I mean, he started up a little closer in 9th, dropped out of the top 10 for a bit. Then late in the race, he came alive. And part of that is, that's that smooth that you have to learn when you're driving momentum cars. And,
you learn that craft in the V.
You bet you do. They have the slip angle in the car, but you learn just to float that momentum, and then that transfers to everything you do down the road. And Veracen's doing an absolutely superb job up in his 6th. Tom Hope 7th. Devin Lesueur, Fauza, and Kirilluk, they were in that great battle for that 8th, 9th, and 10th. And that's where they finish here. But here for the 2nd time today, we're going to hear from Simon Sikes in the victory circle with Hayward. He was a 3rd in the first race, and that was a storming drive. He came from the front, had a penalty, and then came storming back up into that 3rd position. But we'll hear from him, Walco, and Tim Miner. And I'm interested to hear about Miner's battle, and especially that last lap with Nolan Allaer, as that young man was coming as well. But for Simon Sikes, he's going to get a gold medal.
He is, and he's kind of giving a little shake of the head. He's already talking to Hayward. It's like, hey guys, we got to get that helmet off there, Simon. We got to actually hear from you. It's hard to put a helmet down inside of that visor.
It absolutely is.
It's going to pop out. I'm sure he's a happy young man.
Yeah, that is another gold medal for him. And that helmet's going to come off. And Hayward is standing by. And I think that's CC right there with the gold medal from SCCA and Cal Club. Again, this is the Sports Car Club American. All the regions are all part and parcel of a major national championship like this. So you see the finishing order provisionally running across the bottom of the screen. And just some beautiful views here on a cloudy, drizzly, gray day at the Speedway. But for Simon Sikes, the sun is shining.
Simon, it's a bright, sunshiny day for you at Indy, isn't it?
It may be cloudy, but it's all sunny in my world. That was so much fun. Trent kept me honest the whole time. I was fighting through traffic the whole time. I know it was a mix of rain and dry tires. No one really knew what it was going to do. I saw rain on my visor the whole race, and I just kept pushing. Trent stayed close behind, so I knew I had to go all out for the win.
I saw your dad came over and congratulated you. How important is he to your effort?
Absolutely paramount. I've been racing with him since I was 5 years old. I started in go-karts. We've been doing this whole thing together. I'd love to continue with him. This is the first weekend I've had him spotting for me in a car race, and he's done an excellent job. I can't thank him enough. It's just an honor to be here, especially to win the runoff at the Indy Motor Speedway.
Well, congratulations to you on the gold. Enjoy the victory lap.
Thanks. I mean, I couldn't have done this without the whole team. Rice Race did such a great job. Hoosier Tire with this new spec tire, it's phenomenal. I really like the tire. And, of course, Quicksilver Engines, they've been working tirelessly to keep this motor running. We've been working on it all week, and we finally found it. So happy to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's absolutely great. And you know what? The way he works in the sponsors and the like. This guy's got a future. He's got a future in this sport. And if you're going to go somewhere in this sport, it's not just your speed; it's how you present yourself. And I'll tell you what, he's really savvy there as well. Just a superb run, and capping off what for him has been an absolutely stunning day. And now let's get down to Hayward with our tire rack pole sitter. Ended up missing the podium by just one step.
Trent, I got a feeling that wasn't the result you were looking for.
Not exactly. We had a decent run in the end, but Simon just had that little bit extra on those first few laps. I think I was maybe a little more cautious than I should have been, and once the gap was there, I was hoping either we could get a little more rain or just get lucky with traffic. But overall, just congratulations to Simon and Rice Race Prep. They brought a really fast car here, and I did everything I could, but at the end of the day, we came up just short.
Well, congratulations on a silver and a pole.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
and we're going to go ahead and grab Tim. Tim, you're running with a bunch of kids out here. How's this race for you?
Well, it's quite interesting because these guys are quick, and I've been doing this a long time, and it's just it's for me. I'm going to be 61 years old in November, but I feel like I'm 21 years old. Okay, so. I love it. I love the competition. That's what keeps me pushing.
Tell me about the last couple of corners. We missed it on camera, but it looked like the fourth place finisher really closed up at the very end. Did he have just an incredible series of corners? Did you make a mistake? How did that tighten back up?
The lappers got in, and those guys are trying to drive a line, and it's just picking your poison. I mean, and I saw Nolan come up in the mirrors, and I knew what he was going to do coming out of 13. He was going to overrun me, and I just went in a little bit later, and he raced me clean. He raced me clean into one at the start. I mean, couldn't be happier, man. So,
well, congratulations on a podium here at the runoff.
Hey, I got to say hello to my wife, man. I couldn't do this without you, honey.
It is a family endeavor. It is a family sport. It is the Sports Car Club of America.
Yeah.
And, all the people, Cece there in the pink shirt, that's working trophies in the podium. We've got all of these people there. They're volunteers.
Yep.
It's a club, and it's all about a shared passion for the sport. And I've said it many times. The day you join SCCA, if you're a real racing fan, your family expands by 40,000.
Yeah, your whole family just grows by a huge, huge number. I can tell you I've met some of my best friends ever here in this club.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. I'm going to tell a quick story. I was trying with some friends of mine. We wanted to go work a race out on the West Coast as we take a look at the results. Called Cece and said, "Hey, we want to come work Buttonwillow." And we were talking. We said, where's the hotel? What's best? She said, "Well, there's this one and this one, but we've got a fold-out sofa and an air mattress." And they didn't really know me that well, and they didn't know my friends that well. But that's what the Sports Car Club of America is about: is hey, we love it. The same thing. Come share it with us, and that makes it special. And then you get to watch guys like Sykes and Walco and Miner putting in drives like that, going and earning the medals. And Nolan Allaer, a guy to watch in the future for sure. And John LaRue and Verisons and Hope and LeSueur and Fauza and Kira Luke in that top 10. Let's take a look at some highlights in this one. And it all started with a launch. And there you see on the pole, it is Trent Walco. And a smart move there by Simon Sikes just to tuck in right behind him and say, all right, I'm going to draft you a little bit. Now I'm going to pop out, and drove right around the outside. And from that point on, it was his race.
I think Sykes may have pushed Walco down to a little bit of a wet line to make him pick up some water there for the first couple laps. But this battle waged on the whole time there for third spot between Minor and Allaer. But nobody was going to catch Simon Sykes today. Just ridiculously fast, so much control. And even as Trent Walco said, Simon those first couple laps blistering, able to get a whole bit lead out there. But this battle went right up to the end with Allaer. You thought maybe he was going to get that run, but Minor, the cagey veteran on the outside, gets the great run, able to take the bronze.
Yep, just pinched him a little bit, had to tighten up his line, and Minor just let that machine have its head, and it was enough to get him a bronze medal and an absolutely fabulous run. And for Simon Sikes, another gold. Just remarkable stuff. So, wow, absolutely fabulous race here in Formula Continental. Sketchy conditions, a little damp, not sure what to do, and everybody did it beautifully. A big thank you once again to Mazda for presenting our broadcast of this 58th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. We're done with Formula Continental. The gold and the medals have been decided. Thank you so much for joining us. For Larry McLeod and, of course, for Haywood down in the pits, I'm Greg Creamer. Thank you so, so much. And we hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care, everybody.
Welcome to that magic realm. Between here and there, a no man's land, and everyone's land. Where great expectations grow, and rewards are given to the swift, the perceptive, and the daring. Introducing the Mazda CX-30 Turbo with all-wheel drive. More power for your pursuit.